Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Tim Coet back here on the call at the 2017 Massachusetts Legion State Tournament. And this is the Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home pregame show. Consigli Ruggiero Funeral Home, serving all faiths for over 50 years in Milford. Well, we are back here now for day 2 of tournament action. And for Milford Post 59, they certainly hope that day 2 will bring a different result than the events of day number 1. Milford playing in the final game of day 1 of tournament action last night, a game that was scheduled to get started at 7:30, didn't end up getting underway until closer to 8 o'clock and didn't finish up until around 11 o'clock last night. A 3+ hour marathon game between Milford Post 59 and Newton Post 440. Milford had opportunities offensively throughout the game. They had a lead through the middle innings, winning by a score of 6-3, but that lead did not hold up as some defensive miscues on the infield reared their heads once again for Post 59. 5 errors over the course of 9 innings of play, and Milford ultimately turned a 6-3 lead into an 11-6 deficit, courtesy of those miscues, as the big inning for Newton Post 440 was the 7th, an inning that took about 40 minutes on its own, as Newton scored 8 runs on 6 hits to pull away. Milford couldn't chip away in those final innings, and Milford losing by a final score of 11-8. So Milford now finds themselves in the losers bracket, 1 loss away from elimination from state tournament competition. So again, this team looks to turn the page here today as they get set to take on Somerset Post 228. Somerset, a loser in their first game of tournament action, a 16-2 mercy rule loss in the second game of the tournament yesterday against Ashland Post 77. So a mercy rule defeat, putting Somerset in the losers bracket. So both of these teams right now with their tournament backs up against the wall, hoping to emerge from this game victorious to play on. The loser of this game will be eliminated. And it is currently 74 degrees under sunny skies here in Milford. So comfortable conditions as we get this game started. And right on cue, the first pitch of the ball game is in for a called strike from Aaron Mello into Joe Sanchioni. And once again, we see baseball, tournament baseball, underway here at Pheno Field. On day 2 of this 2017 Massachusetts State Tournament, pitch number 2 is popped up foul over the backstop and out of play. And Sanchioni finds himself in an 0-2 hole. A lot of at-bats in the game last night. Joe Sanchioni, with 6 at-bats in the game, ended up going 2 for 6, had a run batted in. And now the 0-2 pitch. And that misses just inside for a ball, not missing by very much. Apparently a little bit inside, so Sanchioni stays alive. This game getting underway actually a couple of minutes ahead of schedule. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that's going to get Sanchioni off the elbow, and he will trot down to first base after the hit by pitch.
Number 8, Sean Rabello.
So Milford gets their leadoff batter on in the top of the first inning. Again, if you're just joining us, Milford losing the coin toss prior to the game. So Somerset serving as the home team, Milford as the road team. So Milford taking their at-bats here in the top half of the first inning at Pheno Field. Milford still occupying the first base dugout with Somerset down the third base line. Sean Rabello now in on the right side. He swings at the first pitch and lines it out to right field. Down for a hit. Sanchioni advances to second base and holds there. And Milford has their first two runners on here in the top of the first. And Sanchioni, as he has done all season long, slapping that ball to the opposite field. A high percentage of the hits that Sean Rabello has collected this season have been to the opposite field. And excellent speed on the bases ahead of the number 3 hitter, Aiden Wild. And this pitch is sent back up the middle. That's going to roll out into center for a base hit. They'll wave Sanchioni around from third base. He will score without a throw. And Milford aggressively swinging here in the top of the first inning. Back-to-back hitters swinging at that first pitch. And Aiden Wild able to roll it right back up the middle, through into center, bringing Sanchioni around from second base as Milford, just 3 batters into the game, will take a 1-0 lead. Sean Rabello had to hold at second base as that ball didn't make it all that far out into center field. So runners at first and second, still nobody out now for Tyler Monahan. And Monahan also swings at the first pitch, grounds it to third base, a bobble. And Devon Lynch will take it to the third base bag for the only out that Somerset gets. And again, Milford swinging at the first pitch. So 3 out of their first 4 hitters now taking that first hack. Monahan bounces into the force play. Reaches first on the fielder's choice, so Sean Rebello out on that force play at third. 5 unassisted. And so first and second and 1 down now for the number 5 hitter, Alex Reynolds. And this time the take on the first pitch as it dips outside and low for ball 1. Reynolds had a good day on day 1 of the tournament. He collected 3 hits, reached base 4 times in his 5 plate appearances. Here's the 1-0, and that misses up and away for ball 2. So Alex Reynolds had a great closing couple of games in the zone playoffs, hitting well in the game in Leominster and again in the loss to Wachusett, and picking right up from there here now in the state tournament. See what he does on the 2-0 pitch. He takes it low for ball 3. Reynolds up now, and Zach Sisitsky on deck, moved up to the number 5 spot after his hot hitting through this playoff run. Aaron Mello ready now with the 3-0 pitch, and it's taken on the outside corner for strike 1. Reynolds no inclination to swing up 3-0. Coach DeVito now issues a fresh set of signs out to his base runners. It's Wild at second with Monahan at first. And now the 3-1 pitch. And that misses inside for ball 4, so there's a walk now allowed by Aaron Mello. Reynolds to first, and that will load the bases now for Zach Sisitsky. Defensively for Somerset post 228, it's Jeremy Thibotot behind the plate, Devon Lynch at third, Jose Martinez at short, Steve Sylvia at second, and Tim Silva at first. Left to right in the outfield, Jake Meehan, Matt Shea, and Jake Rebello. As Zach Sisitsky takes a look at a first pitch strike. Despite the loss last night, Zach Sisitsky was our Pepperoncini's player of the game. After a 3-hit performance, he drove in 3 runs in the loss. And now the count evens at 1-1. And certainly Coach DeVito has taken notice of the consistent hitting of Zach Sisitsky, moving him up to this number 6 spot, flip-flopping Sisitsky and Nocera in the order. Here's the 1-1 pitch, and that drops low. 2 balls and a strike on Sisitsky, playing left field. Kyle Nocera on deck is the first baseman today, with Michael Farrell out in right. Next pitch is hit in the air out to center field. In comes Matt Shea, now drifting towards left field. He's able to make the catch. Tagging at third base is Aiden Wild. He will come to the plate. He will score as the throw drifts off towards the first base line. It's a sacrifice fly for Sisitsky. And Milford now is able to take a 2-0 lead. Monahan and Reynolds remain at their bases. Monahan at second with Reynolds at first. And with 2 outs in the inning now, and at bat for Kyle Nocera. The 7th batter to come to the plate for Milford here in the top of the first. Nocera swings at the first pitch, lofts it foul off to the right. Racing over is Tim Silva, the first baseman, but he runs out of real estate. Crashes up against that half fence that extends out from the first base dugout. That ball drifted out of play for strike 1. Nocera reached base 3 times in the loss last night, a walk and a couple of base hits, also drove in a run. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And it's hit in the air down the right field line, again twisting into foul ground. And it didn't stay in the air long enough for Jake Rebello to make a play. So Rebello's in the outfield for both of these teams. Jake Rebello for Somerset playing right field. And of course, 2-year veteran Sean Rebello manning center field for post 59. It's no 2 count now on Nocera. Milford runners leading off of first and second base with 2 outs. And Mello's next pitch is hit back up the middle. Waiting for it is the shortstop. It kicks off his glove, rolls behind, and everyone is going to be safe. They hold the runner at third base, Monahan. That ball didn't get very far away from the shortstop. Jose Martinez came in towards the second base bag to make the play, but the ball kicked off his glove. And so Nocera reaches on the error. Milford happy to see the infield error go on the other side, as it'll give Michael Farrell a bases loaded opportunity. And a nice quick anecdote from Coach DeVito about Michael Farrell in our coach's corner, saying that Michael texted him at 8 a.m. this morning saying he absolutely wanted to be in this lineup today after making the start on the mound last night, throwing over 100 pitches. But said he felt good, and in case this was his last game in a Legion uniform, he wanted to be in the lineup. But of course, Milford hopes for a victory here today to play on to day number 3. It's a quick 1-ball, 1-strike count on Farrell, as the pitch will get him on the arm, the second hit batter of the inning. And so this will force in a run. Monahan didn't realize it at first, stayed put on the third base bag, but he will now trot home. The bases loaded, hit by pitch of Michael Farrell will give Michael a painful run batted in as Monahan comes to the plate. Everyone else moves up a base, so they're reloaded. Now for the number 9 hitter, Tyler Almeida. Milford now with 3 runs here in the first inning, but an opportunity for more. And these are the at-bats that Milford really has to cash in on in this tournament. They stranded runners in every single inning last night. Here's the 0-1 pitch, and it's hit in the air foul off to the left and out of play, and it's a quick 0-2 count. In total, 14 runners left on base for Milford through 9 innings of play against Newton last night. And even despite that, they still put 8 runs on the scoreboard, which oftentimes would be good enough to get you a win. Unfortunately, not last night. Here's the 0-2 pitch to Almeida, hit hard back up the middle, but right to the second baseman. A bobble. Can he recover in time? His throw to first base. And they're able to get the out at first just barely. The throw was offline. Tim Silva, the first baseman, had to lay out for it, and somehow he was just able to keep his foot on the first base bag to record the out to end the inning. And Coach DeVito right now heading over towards the first base umpire. It looks like Coach Wynn also upset at the call. And Coach DeVito heading over in that area perhaps to make sure that things did not get heated over there with the infield umpire who walks away. So the out call will stand. Milford does strand the bases loaded. However, they do strike for 3 first-inning runs, and they take an early 3-0 lead. We'll head to the bottom of the first inning when we come back next on our coverage of Milford Legion baseball in the 2017 Massachusetts Legion State Tournament here on MyFM 101.3. Milford serving as the road team in this game. They had an opportunity to come to the plate right at the top of the ball game, and they ended up sending all 9 of their batters to the plate against Somerset starter Aaron Mello. They scored 3 runs on the benefit of just 2 hits. An error in the inning, a walk, and a pair of hit-by pitches also helping out the post-59 offense. So they're able to strike for first-inning runs, which throughout this 2017 season has always been a very good sign for post-59. They are just about undefeated when scoring in the first inning. So able to put a 3 spot on the scoreboard here against post 228, who will now come to the plate against the left-hander Jonathan Rice. He is ready for his first pitch of the inning, and he sends it in for a called strike 1 against the center fielder for Somerset, Matt Shea. Jonathan Rice has been at his best in the late regular season and into the playoffs. As now this ball is hit hard to third base, and that is a foul ball. That was very close. It took a bounce right in front of the third base bag. Apparently dropped down just to the left of that chalk line. So Shea will come back to the plate down 0-2. Matt Shea, Jeremy Thibotot, and Luke Faria, the 3 batters expected. Here's the 0-2 pitch, and it's wasted low and outside. It kicks away from Alex Reynolds. Reynolds looks like he might have some different catcher's gear on today than what he wore in the game last night. Team trying to turn the page from that tough loss, maybe getting some new equipment out there, part of the process, as this ball is now lifted out to shallow right center field. That's going to drop down for a base hit. So Matt Shea putting on a tough at bat. He narrowly missed a hard smash down the third baseline for what would have been extra bases. Able to protect the plate, and eventually he muscles the ball out into shallow right for a leadoff single. And now the first pitch into Thibodeau misses down and away. The last time we saw Jonathan Rice on the mound was in Milford's elimination game against Maine South, part of that doubleheader last Saturday. Rice ended up allowing a hit to the first batter he faced in the first inning, and then did not allow a hit through the remainder of the game. A game that ended up being a 6-inning mercy rule win for Milford. 10-0 over Maine South, eliminating post 341 from playoff contention. It's a quick 3-ball, no-strike count, meanwhile, on Thibodeau. And that brings Reynolds out from behind the plate to talk to his starter. Defensively for Milford, it is Alex Reynolds behind the plate, Tyler Monahan at third, Joe Sanchioni at short, Tyler Almeida at second, and Kyle Nocera at first. Left to right in the outfield, Zach Sisitsky, Sean Rebello, and Michael Farrell. Here's the 3-0 pitch now, and it misses high for ball 4. And an inauspicious start to this inning for Jonathan Rice, staked to a quick 3-0 lead. But he allows the first two batters to reach, and now Somerset will bring the tying run to the plate in their designated hitter, Luke Faria. Somerset, in the blink of an eye, was down big to Ashland yesterday afternoon. We were here with the Sports Buzz until 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Game between Somerset and Ashland had just gotten underway. It was still in the top of the first inning with Ashland batting when we left the field, and Ashland had already built up a 7-0 lead. They went on to win in 7 innings by a final of 16-2. So Somerset was really never in that game. Allowed first inning runs to Milford here again today, but just 3 by comparison to the 7 yesterday. And now an opportunity to quickly bring the tying run to the plate. It's a no-ball, 1-strike count on Faria. And now sees a breaking ball drop in for a called strike 2. Jonathan Rice with just 1 hit and 1 walk allowed in that effort against Maine South, with 6 strikeouts. Here's his 0-2 pitch. It drops in low, kicks briefly away from Reynolds. The runners will advance. No throw from the catcher. And so a passed ball allows each runner to advance. And now second and third for post 228 with nobody out. And now a 1-ball, 2-strike count on Faria, with Rice suddenly now in dire need of a strikeout. Here's his pitch, and it's hit to the backstop. Bit of a lighter crowd here at Pheno Field for this game this afternoon. It was one of the largest crowds we've seen in years here last night for the night game. A lot of Legion officials, a lot of state dignitaries here as well. The Milford Board of Selectmen, State Representative Brian Murray, amongst others, as this ball is now lifted out to shallow left field. That's down for a hit. Here comes a runner around from third base to score. A second run coming to the plate. He will score as well, as Reynolds has to drift out in front of the second base bag to take the throw. And it's a 2-run double for Luke Faria. And just like that, Somerset's right back in this game. It's 3-2. Shea and Thibodeau both come around to score. Faria down to second base. That ball was hit not too deep out into left center, but effective to get both runners home. Again, that passed ball playing a key role. And so Milford's early 3-run lead is reduced down to 1. The tying run in scoring position with still nobody out in the bottom of the first inning. And ball 1 now sent in to the number 4 hitter, Devon Lynch. Lynch, a right-handed batter, facing the left-handed starter, Jonathan Rice, who is off to a rocky start. Now misses away, and that will prompt a visit from head coach Steve DeVito. And you have to imagine, in a game like this, in an elimination game, Coach DeVito is going to have a short leash on his starting pitcher. Right now, a conversation taking place, Coach DeVito calling the entire infield in. And this is a real gut check moment for this team. Confidence has been such an issue for this team through the later stages of the regular season and into the playoffs. You think back to that 10-game winning streak Milford enjoyed. That was from June 14th all the way until June 25th, and this team felt like they could come back from any deficit. They could score runs at any given time. They were really firing on all cylinders. They then faced a couple of tough losses against Eastside and Shrewsbury. They were able to dust off those losses to win 4 straight games from July 1st until July 6th. But then through the late stages of the season, it was a sort of win one, lose one pattern for Milford heading into those final days of the regular season. Losses to Cherry Valley, Leominster, and Grafton Hill late in the season, and you just wonder if that point in the year started to shake this team's confidence, and that has plagued this team ever since. They have not been able to regain that same level of execution and that same level of confidence that they enjoyed through so long during the regular season. And now facing another one of these moments where they need a big play to keep this lead intact. It's 3-2. Nobody out in the bottom of the first, and now a 2-1 count on the batter. And Jonathan Rice able to battle back with a second consecutive strike to even the count. Devon Lynch, the batter at the plate for Somerset. And he takes the pitch just outside for ball 3. Milford in their retro navy jerseys with gold lettering. Somerset in bright orange uniform tops with navy lettering. And the payoff pitch now to Lynch is swung on and missed for strike 3. And finally, Rice is able to get the first out of the frame after the first 3 batters reached, with 2 of them crossing the plate. And now with 1 down, we'll see Steve Sylvia, the Somerset second baseman, and Coach DeVito now back out of the dugout. He calls the umpire out as well. This might be an injury situation here, taking a look at Jonathan Rice. Maybe Coach DeVito seeing something after that last pitch. And absolutely the last thing that Milford fans want to see. He didn't pick up anything, at least from the broadcast booth after that pitch. I'm not sure if perhaps Rice landed awkwardly on the front of the mound, or if Coach DeVito saw something after the pitch. But they are going to take the baseball from Jonathan Rice, and he is going to leave the field after facing just 4 batters in this game. And so we'll see what Coach DeVito opts to do from here. Right now, Coach DeVito going over to one of the coaches on the Somerset side to have a brief conversation. And now the Milford head coach looking towards the dugout, who will end up emerging. And it looks like it will be Alex Gunfriday who comes out of the dugout to take over. So Milford coming into a winner-go-home game. They had to feel good about their chances with Jonathan Rice on the mound, with how well he had pitched, again, through the end of the regular season and into the playoffs. It ended up being dominant games back-to-back, both of them coming against Maine South. That victory in Mercy Rule fashion in the Zone 4 playoffs, and then also a late regular season game as part of a road-and-road doubleheader against Maine South. Jonathan Rice also pitching lights out against post 341. He ended up going 5 innings in that game, which was also good enough for a complete game effort. He scattered 3 hits, allowed just 1 unearned run, and struck out 7 batters in that game. But something happening here to Jonathan Rice early on in the bottom of the first inning. He has to leave the game, and now throwing the Milford pitching staff really into disarray. Alex Gunfriday now pressed into service. He makes his warm-up tosses. He'll have as long as he needs to get ready here. And Coach DeVito lingering on the field to talk things over with his infielders, as there is just 1 out recorded in the bottom of the first inning. Milford seeing an early 3-0 lead shrink down to a 3-2 margin. And Coach DeVito wandering off now towards the spectators over on the right field side. I'm not sure if perhaps some family members of Jonathan Rice might be over there where Coach DeVito is giving an update. Right now, Jonathan Rice is standing outside of the dugout getting some water. We'll see if we can possibly get any type of word as to the nature of the injury for Jonathan Rice as this game goes on. But what we can tell you now is it will now be turned over to the left-hander Alex Gunfriday. And as we take a look at Gunfriday's numbers through the regular season and 1 appearance in the playoffs, he's made a total of 8 appearances on the pitcher's mound. 4 of those were starts. A combined regular season and playoff ERA of 2.63, a record of 2-2. So far in 2017, the lefty's thrown 21 1/3 innings, has allowed 28 hits, 13 runs, 8 of them earned, 10 walks to 19 strikeouts, and opposing batters hitting .264 against Alex Gunfriday, who continues to warm up now. Coach DeVito back in the dugout. And so as we continue that conversation about confidence, you have to wonder what's going on in the minds of these post-59 players out on the field and also in the dugout, knowing that they face elimination on this Sunday afternoon. They need a win to hope to move on to Monday's action. And seeing their starting pitcher go out in the bottom of the first inning of a 9-inning ball game. And in desperate need of a pick-me-up from the young first-year player, Alex Gunfriday. His first season with Milford post-59, and Coach DeVito has often praised the guts of Alex Gunfriday. So looking for a gutty performance out of the lefty here. Who's now ready to continue this bottom of the first inning. Facing now the number 5 hitter, Steve Sylvia. Misses with his first pitch for ball 1. Tying run remains at second base as that pitch now hits on the outside edge for a called strike. And really at this point, it's impossible to think beyond today. Coach DeVito needing to do what he has to do with his pitching staff to try to get through this game with a victory. But with an injury now to Jonathan Rice, we don't know how that will impact him going forward. You just have to think about what Milford is going to have in the way of starting pitching depth as they continue to move forward, should they emerge with a victory here against Somerset. The 2-1 pitch is swung on and missed. Coach DeVito also utilizing Alex Masick in a relief role yesterday. He ended up pitching the 9th inning through about 20 pitches in that relief appearance. Here's a 2-2 now from Gunfriday, an off-speed pitch, but it misses outside and the count runs full. Bright sunshine streaming down over Fino Field, a light, very light cloud cover. Gunfriday now ready with the payoff pitch. It's hit hard but foul down the third base line. And the count stays 3-2. It's been a lengthy first inning. This game began right around 12:28. So just about a half an hour to not quite conclude 1 inning of play. Gunfriday ready with another payoff pitch, and it's another foul ball. Hit right in the direction of a couple of coaches seated behind the backstop area. That's been roped off for this state tournament. We have Legion officials on one side and also room for coaches and also college scouts behind the plate. Another 3-2 pitch, and this is a bouncer towards shortstop. The runner having to leap out of the way, somehow successfully did so. But Joe Sanchioni was able to hang with the play. He was able to field the ball and throw to Nocera at first in time to get the out. So Sylvia retired 6-3. And Luke Faria showing off his hurdling skills as he was able to narrowly avoid that ball in play and advance to third. We saw a play similar to that unfold last night on the Milford side, where Kyle Nocera tried to jump over a ground ball hit by Sasitsky, but the ball made contact with Nocera's foot, and the result was the final out of the inning. There are now 2 outs in the bottom of the first inning as Jose Martinez, the shortstop, stands in, and he takes a pitch down in the dirt for ball 1. This is not the first time we've seen Alex Gunfriday in the playoffs. You think back to Milford's first game in the zone playoffs here at Fino against Wachusett. Gunfriday came in the 8th inning, relieving Michael Farrell after his brilliant 16 strikeout performance. Gunfriday ended up getting charged with 4 runs, but a lot of those runs scoring as a result of 3 straight defensive gaffes to open the inning. In what was an eventual 5-1 loss for Milford. Here's a 1-1 pitch and a wave and a miss A late swing on an off-speed pitch by Martinez, so he was badly fooled. That might have been the knuckleball out of the hand of Gonfride. The count goes to 1-2. The tying run at third base for Somerset, and now timeout is granted to the hitter. Milford sending 9 batters to the plate in their half of the first, scoring 3 times. Somerset now sending 6 batters to the plate so far in the bottom of the inning, scoring twice. As Gonfride comes to the set. Here's this 1-2 pitch, and it dips down and in. And Alex Reynolds doing a tremendous job of keeping that ball in front of the plate, keeping Luke Faria at third base. It's now a 2-ball, 2-strike count. As the right-hander taps the bat on the plate, brings it up over the shoulder. And now Gonfride's 2-2 pitch, and that is on the outside corner for a called strike 3. So tough work done by Alex Gonfride. He's able to get the final outs of the inning. No more damage done on the scoreboard for Somerset. They are able to get 2. And so an eventful first inning now in the books here from Pheno Field, where Milford leads Somerset by a score of 3-2 on this playoff coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. Milford once again bringing the top third of their order to the plate. Leading 3-2, Joe Sanchioni goes after the first pitch and sends it high, far, and foul off to the left and out of play. Sanchioni was hit by a pitch in his first at bat. Milford sending their full complement of hitters to the plate against Aaron Mello in the first inning. The righty back out there for a second frame. And another swing from Sanchioni and another foul ball in near the same spot. And a quick 0-2 count on Sanchioni. These Milford hitters continue to be very aggressive against Mello. Here's the 0-2 pitch now, and it's hit in the air out to left field. This stays on the playing surface. Meehan fighting the sunlight. He can't find it. It lands several feet off to his right, and that will end up as a gift double for Joe Sanchioni, who continued to hustle around the bases. You could see Meehan was in trouble. Stopped dead in his tracks out in left field, raised both hands out to the side, making it clear he could not find the baseball, and it ended up landing probably about 10 feet away from him. And so Joe Sanchioni says, "Thank you very much, I'll take the leadoff double." Won't go in the books as an error, but the second defensive miscue, and you can tell already Somerset's really teetering on the edge in these early innings. We've seen some shaky defense on their side, as now Sean Rebello will pop this one up straight on the infield. The pitcher will range in front of the pitcher's mound to make the catch. And so Rebello has seen 2 pitches so far in the game. He lined a single out to right field his first time, now pops up to the pitcher for out number 1. Sanchioni stays home at second base. And that will bring Aiden Wild to the dish, who also lined a first pitch base hit back up the middle to drive in Milford's first run. And takes that pitch that apparently just grazed the outside part of the plate for a called strike 1. Sanchioni a decent-sized lead off of second base. Mello looking in that direction, now fires home, and the pitch misses high to Wild. Aiden didn't collect a hit in the game last night until the 8th inning, reached on an infield single, and eventually came around to score, though he did reach base twice via errors in the game last night, and now will take a pitch off the forearm. And there is already the 3rd hit batter for Aaron Mello in this game.
Number 14, Tyler Monahan.
So now runners at first and second base for post 59. And a chance for Tyler Monahan. With a couple of runners aboard, Monahan bounced into a fielder's choice play his first time up. Mello again staring down at Joe Sanchioni at second base. And too much time taken. Monahan steps out of the box. As we mentioned, Tyler with a pair of hits in the game last night against Newton, a double and a single. Also drove in a run. Swings at the first pitch here, loops it out to right center field. On comes Rebello, the right fielder. He can't make the play. Now it drifts behind him. Here comes Sanchioni racing around from second base to score. Aiden Wild stopped at third as Monahan ends up at second base with an RBI double that gives Milford now a 4-2 lead. And you can tell right now these Somerset outfielders are really fighting the sunshine. Bright skies overhead. You had both Matt Shea, the center fielder, and Jake Rebello, the right fielder, drifting into the right center gap. Neither was able to make the catch. And it goes as a two-base hit for Monahan with an RBI. Two runners in scoring position for post 59 for Alex Reynolds, who takes a first pitch strike. Milford fans would love to see their offense break this game open here in the second. Post 59 seems poised to do so. They had two hits in the first, now a pair of doubles here in the second inning, though one of those doubles a bit of a gift out in left field. Here's the 1-1. That misses inside. Reynolds walked in his first plate appearance. The next pitch from Mello is hit hard towards second base. Misjudging it is Steve Sylvia. He dives, he can't get it. A run comes in to score as Wild crosses the plate. A stop sign held up on Monahan. He will head back to third on an RBI single for Alex Reynolds, and there's another bizarre play.
Now batting, the left fielder.
As Steve Sylvia initially broke towards the second base bag on a ball that was hit in the hole between first and second. He then tried to stop in his tracks and backtrack towards the first base side, but by then it was too late. The ball through the infield for a base hit and another run home for Milford, who now opens up a 5-2 lead. Runners at the corners now for post 59. And they'll check over on Reynolds at first base. Back to the bag with a dive. Zach Sisitsky now taking his second at bat of the game. Recorded a sacrifice fly his first time. And they'll double up on pickoff checks to first base with the catcher, Alex Reynolds, aboard. The next stolen base for Alex Reynolds will be his first of the season. So not a runner in this Milford lineup you necessarily have to keep close to the bag. Though if Reynolds ultimately decides to go, he likely would not see a throw from the catcher with Monahan at third base. Breaks back out to a lead. Holds, and the pitch misses high. Sisitsky ahead now 2-0. So 4 RBIs now in the last 2 games of the state tournament for Zach Sisitsky. The lefty's ready to see another pitch. Takes it high for ball 3. Three balls and no strikes on Sisitsky. 2 more runs home so far in the inning for post 59, looking for more with men at first and third. And now the 3-0 pitch. And that misses inside and low for ball 4. And that walk will once again give Milford a bases loaded opportunity.
Number 2, Kyle Nocera.
This has been a situation that Milford has struggled in through these playoffs. They have had all sorts of bases loaded opportunities through the zone playoffs and again through these last 2 games of the state tournament, including just last inning, Milford with a bases loaded 2-out chance. They left 3 on the bases. So really hoping to cash in with a key hit to maximize the damage against a Somerset team that feels like they are on the ropes in this top of the second. They play in tight at the corners as Kyle Nocera takes the first pitch on the inside corner for strike one. A deep breath from Aaron Mello on the pitcher's mound. Now is 0-1. It's hit hard to the left side. That is deep in the hole at shortstop. A tough play for Jose Martinez. He cannot get the throw to first base in time. Everyone's safe. A run scores, and Milford opens up a 6-2 lead. Martinez showed good range at shortstop, going far to his right, playing that ball on the backhand, but just could not get enough on the throw to get it to first base in time to get Nocera. So he will reach on an infield single. Drives in another run for post 59 as Monahan crosses the plate. Everyone moves up a base, so they're still loaded up. Now for Michael Farrell. This is Farrell's second at bat with the bases loaded today. He was hit by a pitch last inning, forcing in Milford's third run. They've now put 3 more on the scoreboard in the second inning, a 6-2 lead with the bases full and only 1 out. Action loosening in the bullpen for Somerset, as Mello has not been sharp through his 2 innings of work so far. He's now allowed 6 hits through an inning and a third and 6 runs. As the pitch misses into Farrell, and the count quickly goes to 3 balls and no strikes. Nowhere to put Farrell. The batter digs back into the box as Mello takes his time in between pitches, now receives the sign from his catcher. And a 3-0 pitch. Farrell getting the hands out of the way, but that ball grabbing a piece of the strike zone. The count goes to 3-1. Chance for Farrell to narrow down that strike zone on the 3-1 pitch. Instead, he drives this one out to left field. That sends Meehan back. The ball gets over his head and drifts deep out into left field. Here comes Reynolds to score. Another run right behind as Sisitsky crosses the plate. It's a 2-run double for Michael Farrell, who continues to shine in these playoffs, and Milford is able to open up an 8-2 lead. And Coach DeVito right now racing over to the first base dugout in between at bats. Shared a quick word with assistant coach Steve Matos, and now heads back to his position on the third base coach's box. So not sure what that conversation was between the Milford coaching staff, but right now a conversation on the pitcher's mound on the Somerset side, and that will be the day for Aaron Mello. A very tough performance on the pitcher's mound for the righty. He leaves after just an inning and a third, allowing 8 runs to post 59. And so a relief pitcher coming on now for post 228 with the score now Milford 8 and Somerset 2. We'll pause for the pitching change. More to come in this bottom of the second inning when we return next on our coverage of Milford Legion baseball on MyFM 101.3. Neither starting pitcher lasting very long in this baseball game. Jonathan Rice had to leave after just a third of an inning of work in the bottom of the first after sustaining an injury. We have not received any updates on the nature of that injury. On the other side, Aaron Mello lasting just an inning and a third, and so far allowing 8 runs to post 59. You can't close the book on him quite yet. Still responsible for the runners at second and third, as the new arm on for post 228 is the lefty Brady Oliveira. Oliveira will be greeted by Tyler Almeida, the number 9 hitter. And you really cannot say enough about the performance that we have seen through these 2017 playoffs out of Michael Farrell in every phase of the game. Michael has been outstanding on the mound. Don't let the final line on Michael Farrell as a starter last night fool you. He pitched very well in that game, ended up lasting 6 2/3 innings, was charged with 10 of the runs that Newton scored, but that was a product largely of the 5 Milford errors. He had 11 strikeouts in the game to go along with the 16 strikeout performance in the zone playoffs. So pitching-wise, he has been up to the challenge. Offensively, he's come through with some clutch hits for this team, and he has played top-notch defense in the outfield as well. Leading by example as one of the veteran leaders on this team. He is at second base with Kyle Nocera at third. And Tyler Almeida now taking a first pitch strike out of the hand of the lefty Brady Oliveira. The next pitch is hit in the air out to center field. Matt Shea drifting in a few steps. He has it, makes the catch. Nocera bluffs down the third base line. The throw right on target to the cutoff man. So Nocera will retreat to the third base bag with now 2 outs in the inning. Almeida now 0 for 2 after that flyout. As post 59 will now send their 10th batter to the plate of this second inning. So they sent 9 men to the plate in the first, now 10 here in the second, and already a third at bat in this game for Joe Sanchioni. Joe's been on base twice, a hit batter and a double to lead off this second inning. That double, a product of Jake Meehan, the left fielder, losing the ball in the sunshine. Runner still at second and third for Milford. The 1-0 pitch is swung on and missed. And had a late break on it. Dropped underneath the swing of Joe Sanchioni. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs. And the pitch, low for ball 2. Stands have continued to fill up through these early innings. Still plenty of this baseball game left. Here's the 2-1 pitch now. That misses inside. So we saw a game with a very slow pace to it here at Pheno last night. Over 3 hours to complete that 9-inning game against Newton. So far, about 45 minutes into this game. We're not yet done with the top of the second as Sanchioni now lines a pitch down the left field line. It's a fair ball rolling towards the corner. 2 runs will score easily for post 59 as Sanchioni stands at second with his second double of the inning. And Milford now up to double digits. They take a 10-2 lead on Somerset.
Now batting the center fielder, number 8, Sean Rebello.
So on base 3 times now. Joe Sanchioni drives in 2 big runs. So this is exactly what Coach DeVito was hoping for. A 7-run inning for post 59 here in the second. Sanchioni now the lone runner at second base for Sean Rebello. Takes a first pitch strike. And now the next one in from the lefty Oliveira. Misses for ball 1, so you can now officially close the door on the starting pitcher, Aaron Mello. He's charged with all 10 runs, 9 of them earned. As now this ball is slapped towards second base, in and out of the glove of the second baseman. He can't pick it up cleanly, and that will be the second error of the game for post 228. Might have taken a tricky hop a bit on the end for Steve Sylvia, but still a routine play. Ball bounced up into his midsection, rolled out in front, and then Sylvia losing his footing, unable to send a throw over to first base. So Rebello reaches on the E4. Sanchioni takes third. And here is the third plate appearance for Aiden Wild. And he takes a fastball at the knees for a called strike 1. Aiden was hit by a pitch in his previous at-bat in this second inning, came around to score. Runner takes off for second base as the pitch misses low, and no throw from the catcher, Thibotot. And so that puts 2 men in scoring position now for post 59, looking to do some more damage before this second inning comes to a close. And Aiden Wild now drives the ball deep out to center field. Racing back is Shea, still going back. He dives, cannot make the catch. The ball drifts behind the goal posts to two-run score for post 59. They will now wave Aiden Wild all the way around. He will score as he slides into home plate with a 3-run inside the park home run. And Milford now will open up a 13-2 lead. No problem for Sanchioni and Rebello to score with their speed, but Aiden Wild turning on the Jets. You know when a ball ends up out by the goalposts in center field, there's a chance for the runner to come all the way around, and that is exactly what happened. That's Aiden Wild's second inside the park home run of the season, his 4th home run overall. And Milford now taking an 11-run lead on Somerset, the score 13-2. And after everything that went wrong for Milford through the middle innings last night, these post 59 bats taking out some big time frustration on this Somerset pitching staff. Tyler Monahan batting now with the bases empty and 2 outs. A 10-run second inning in the making for post 59. How about a 3-run inside the park home run? And a 3-ball no strike count to Monahan. Hesitation on the mound for Brady Oliveira. Here's the lefty's pitch, and it misses outside for ball 4, a 4-pitch walk. And the inning just keeps on going. Now batter number 13 of the frame will come to the plate. And now back out to the mound comes the Somerset coaching staff. Conversation amongst relief pitcher, catcher, and head coach. And right now it does not look like a move will be made just yet. Alex Reynolds taking the opportunity to wander down the third base line to have a conversation with Coach Steve DeVito. And so for Milford, they had a gut check moment in that bottom of the first inning as they saw a 3-run lead drop down to a single-run advantage. And on top of that, they saw their starting pitcher exit the game with injury. But Milford's offense stepping to the forefront, driving 10 runs in through this second inning. They still bat with now Alex Reynolds at the plate. He takes ball 1 high. And you have to start to wonder what the state of Somerset's pitching is right now after they allowed 16 runs to Ashland yesterday. They've already utilized 2 arms so far in the game today, and they still only have the first 5 outs of the game recorded. And a 2-ball no strike count to Alex Reynolds, so now the last 6 pitches have missed the strike zone from Oliveira after the inside the park home run. And the 2-0 is not close, missing badly up and away. And not great body language out of Brady Oliveira right now. Tries to gather himself as he does some maintenance work around the pitcher's mound now. Gets back to the set. And it's 3-0 pitch. That's in for a strike. Taking all the way was Reynolds. Three and 1 the count as Monahan stands off of first. Here's the pitch, and it is high for ball 4. Now back-to-back walks. And so that will bring batter 15 to the plate, but before we see another at bat in this game, we will see a second pitching change of the inning for post 228 as the coaching staff for Somerset comes back out of the dugout. They take the baseball out of the hand of the lefty. And so we will see a second pitching change here at Fino Field. So far, the Milford offense driving Aaron Mello and now Brady Oliveira from the game. It's a 13-2 lead for post 59, and we still have more to come in this top of the second inning when we return next on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. post 228 right now in dire need of an out, trying to find a way to get through this top half of the second inning. Using their third pitcher of the day already, as we'll see Lucas Berube come into the game now. The right-hander now taking over for Brady Oliveira, who was only able to record a single out. Faced 6 batters, ended up getting charged with 3 runs so far, responsible for Tyler Monahan at second and Alex Reynolds at first, as Zach Sisitsky will now take his third plate appearance of the game. Starts off with a first pitch strike. A sacrifice fly and a walk so far for Sisitsky, and now a bloop hit out towards third, but that hangs up for Devon Lynch, who makes the catch, and there finally is the final out of this top half of the second inning. But Milford's offense looking like their mid-season form, as they have dropped 13 runs on the scoreboard through just their first 2 innings, and they now lead Somerset by a score of 13-2, as we will head to the bottom half of the second inning when we return next on this coverage of Milford Legion baseball in the 2017 Legion State Tournament here on MyFM 101.3. 10 runs on 7 hits in that second inning for Post 59, turning a 3-2 score into a 13-2 score, and we are still in the second inning. Alex Gunfriday, who was pressed into service after the injury to Jonathan Rice with a very long wait in between innings, and now set to face the bottom third of the Somerset order. And you have to wonder where the Somerset team is at mentally after that very lengthy top half of the inning. And now this ball driven in the air out to left center field off the bat of Jake Rebello. But it is the Milford left fielder Zach Sisitsky who's able to make the catch for out number 1. This team earning their way into the state tournament after a successful regular season, a 15-9 regular season for Somerset. They needed just 2 victories to get through their zone playoffs. They were the number 2 seed in those zone playoffs. As now this ball is fouled away off the bat of Tim Silva, the first baseman. And now another foul ball hit over towards the third base dugout. The count goes to 1-2. Somerset coming out of zone 9. As the pitch is swung on and missed, the ball gets away from Reynolds. He recovers, throws to first, just gets the throw around the runner. And Nocera able to make the grab to complete the strikeout. That ball whizzed just past the right shoulder of Silva as he ran down the first base line. Looked initially like it might hit him, but just able to make its way to Nocera to complete the strikeout. Somerset was the first place team in their zone standings with that 15-9 record, just ahead of Freetown and also Norton, as this ball is hit out to right field off the bat of Jake Meehan into the glove of Michael Farrell. And how about that, a lightning quick 1-2-3 inning, a shutdown inning for Alex Gunfriday. And so quite a contrast of the top and the bottom half of this second inning. The bottom half of the inning lasts just 3 batters, so we will head on to inning number 3 now from Pheno Field in this Legion State Tournament, with Milford in front of Somerset 13-2. Stay with us here on MyFM 101.3. We move on to inning number 3, where it will be Kyle Nocera, Michael Farrell, and Tyler Almeida at the plate. Kyle Nocera already taking his third at bat. Swings at the first pitch and drives it out to left, sending Meehan back. And he is able to recover to make the catch, twisting around initially, but was able to make up the ground, sticks the glove up over his head to haul in out number 1. Nocera giving that ball a ride, but he is retired.
Number 7, Michael Farrell.
Milford bats facing Lucas Berube here. Already the third arm utilized by this Somerset coaching staff. And happy to see the first batter of this third inning retired. Milford had their leadoff man on in each of the first two innings. The windup and the pitch from the righty is popped up on the infield off the bat of Michael Farrell. In towards the plate, it's the pitcher who will take charge. And Berube able to collect out number 2.
Now batting,
It's the second pop-up to the pitcher that Somerset has recorded so far in the game. So their pitchers doing a good job fielding their position. Unfortunately, the overall work on the pitcher's mound has not been great for post 228 so far. They do have the first 2 outs of this third inning. Tyler Almeida taking a look at ball 1. Almeida is 0 for 2 so far. He is the only member of the lineup to not reach base. And now hits this one hard out to right center field. That's down for a hit. Digging around first base is Almeida. Now a bobble out in right field. Almeida will now hustle into second, and he has himself a double. And you could tell that Almeida was sniffing double right out of the box. He charged hard down that first base line. He could see that the center fielder, Matt Shea, was a little slow to react, so he kept hustling around the bases and gets into second. Very good effort from the number 9 hitter, and Coach DeVito has to love that kind of intensity. Despite the 10-run lead, Milford not satisfied. Still a long way to go in this one. Gives another at-bat to Joe Sanchioni, who has so far taken 4 at-bats in the first 3 innings. He has a hit by pitch and a pair of doubles to his resume today. Also 2 runs batted in and 3 runs scored. Bounces this one down the third base line, but foul. It just eludes the grasp of Coach DeVito. His offense taking advantage of opportunities early and often in this game, building up an 11-run lead. Called strike now dealt into Sanchioni brings the count to 1-2. Almeida a lead off of second base. And now Berube's pitch is hit hard towards shortstop. It gets through the wickets of Jose Martinez. Here comes Almeida hustling around third base. He will score. And Milford is able to up the lead to 14-2. Martinez had the runner Almeida racing from second base, partially shielding his view of that ground ball. And it ended up going right through his legs and out into left. Another error for post 228. And so this all happening after the first 2 batters of the inning were retired for Milford. They grab an additional run. They now have Sanchioni at first, Rebello at the plate. And Sean swings at the first pitch and lines it hard to the backstop. Rebello so far today, a single, a pop out, and also reached on an error, stole a base, and scored a run. Milford quickly filling up the scorecard through these early innings. As now Rebello lofts this ball out to right field. In at first was Rebello. So Sean Rebello to Jake Rebello out in right field. The Somerset outfielder able to make the catch for the out that ends the inning, but Milford does tack an additional run onto the scoreboard. And it's now a 14-2 lead for post 59 here on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, My FM 101.3. As Alex Gunfriday is back out on the pitcher's mound now with the lead up to 14-2, a 12-run advantage for Milford, who again is operating as the road team here today. But enjoying the comforts of home as first pitch swinging. This ball is driven out to center field off the bat of the leadoff hitter, Matt Shea. but into the glove of Sean Rebello, and just one pitch and one out recorded for Alex Gunfriday, who has retired every batter he has faced since coming into the game in the first. Was able to get a ground out and a strikeout to conclude that first inning. Enjoyed a 1-2-3 second, and now one pitch and one out in the bottom of the third. And now deals ball one into the number 2 hitter, Jeremy Thibotot. Makes solid contact here, drives the ball out to right field on the move, and Sisitsky able to make the catch. And we do want to clean up that point in the outfield for post 59. On the lineup card for Milford, we saw Sisitsky in left and Farrell in right, and it avoided our detection until getting word from the other side of the press box, but apparently a flip-flop just prior to the game, as it is Michael Farrell in left with Zach Sisitsky in right. So we want to give credit where credit is due. We have typically seen Sisitsky in left field when he's made starts in the outfield for post 59, but shifting over to right today with Farrell getting the start in left. Of course, Sean Rebello once again in center field. 2 outs and the base is empty, and a called strike in to Luke Faria. And now this one sent softly over towards first base. Waiting for it is Nocera. He settles it into the glove in the air, and another 1-2-3 inning here in the third, as Alex Gunfriday has been providing quality relief for this post 59 team so far. That sends us on to the 4th inning. It's a 14-2 Milford lead here on MyFM 101.3. Lucas Berube back on the mound for another inning of work for Somerset. Milford with 14 runs on this game now on 10 hits. Error-free baseball so far for post 59. On the other side, 2 runs on 2 hits with 3 errors for Somerset. Somerset able to get 2 runs on 2 hits with also a walk in the bottom of the first inning, all against the starter, Jonathan Rice, who, again, if you are just joining us, Rice only able to go a third of an inning in this game, sustained some kind of injury, had to be removed, replaced by Alex Gunfriday, who has picked up the slack. And of course, the Milford offense really changing the complexion of this game drastically. Milford taking a 3-0 lead in the top of the first. Somerset fighting back for 2 runs, but since then it has been all Milford. Post 59 scoring 11 unanswered runs to take full control of this game in now the top half of the 4th inning. And Aiden Wild lines a pitch through the left side of the infield for a base hit. And that's 3 hits now in this game for Aiden Wild. Of course, in his last at-bat, he blasted a pitch well beyond the reach of the Somerset center fielder, drifted off towards the goalposts, and ended up as a 3-run inside the park home run. So a 3-run homer and a pair of singles for Aiden Wild. He is 3 for 3. Has also been hit by a pitch. He's driven in 3 and scored 3. So lighting up the stat sheet. Every member of the Milford lineup now has reached base. The only member of the lineup who has not recorded a hit yet is Zach Sisitsky. It's a quick 2-ball, no-strike count now on Tyler Monahan, who has been on base all 3 times he's come to the plate. A fielder's choice in the first, and a double and a walk in the 2nd inning. Now hits one high in the air out to left field, sending Meehan back towards the corner. Now backpedals and is able to make the catch. And Aiden Wild, who had rounded second base, has to travel all the way back towards first. He gets there. Jake Meehan has had all kinds of difficulty keeping track of the baseball out in left field, but outside of the one misplay on the double by Sanchioni back in the 2nd, he's been able to just barely get the job done. It hasn't always looked pretty, but it's been effective out there for Meehan in left. So 1 out now with Wild back at first base for Alex Reynolds, who takes the first pitch for ball 1. It is quiet right now in the Milford dugout after the team cheered on that massive 10-run rally in the second. Milford has scored in each inning so far, 3 in the first, 10 in the second, and a single run in the third. As Berube comes to the set, here's his pitch, high for ball 3. Alex Reynolds so far today, 1 hit in 3 trips to the plate. He has a pair of walks, and you can make it a trio of walks as he will head down to first base. Hasn't gotten a lot of pitches to swing at so far. So that pushes Aiden Wild into scoring position. 2 on with 1 out now for Sisitsky. We'll try now to make it a clean sweep in the starting lineup. The only player without a hit. And now he hits one softly over towards first base. It's played by the first baseman Silva, who will fire to second base to get the force out there of Reynolds. That was a heads-up play from Silva. He had to drift far out past the first base bag to pick up that ground ball. Rather than trying to take it back to the first base bag, he was able to get the out of Reynolds, so they cut out the middleman on the bases. Wild advances to third with Sisitsky reaching on the fielder's choice. Runners at the corners with 2 outs now for Kyle Nocera. As Berube steps off the mound, looking as if he was guarding against a runner at second base. It's the only base that is currently uninhabited. Pitch misses high for ball 1. Milford with runners at first and third. Somerset trying to keep Milford off the scoreboard for the first inning of this game. Here's the pitch. And that one is in for a strike, grabbing a piece of the bottom of the strike zone. Nocera's only hit so far was of the infield variety. Sent a slow roller deep in the hole at short. Jose Martinez able to play it on the backhand, but couldn't get the throw to first base in time. Nocera reaching on the infield hit that drove in a run. Milford really opened the floodgates from there in that second inning. Michael Farrell quickly following with a 2-run double. Joe Sanchioni also with a 2-run double, and Aiden Wild eventually with the 3-run inside the park home run. Here's a 2-2 pitch, a bouncer towards third, a high hop into the glove of Lynch. He throws across the diamond in time to get Nocera. That's a good play from Devon Lynch. Took a high hop on him, was able to stay with it behind the third base bag and throws accurately to first for the out that ends the inning. So there is the first frame in which Milford has failed to score. And we will head now to the bottom half of inning number 4. Milford in front of Somerset big, up 14-2 on this coverage of Milford Legion baseball on My FM 101.3. Back to work now for Alex Gunfriday in the bottom half of the 4th. A 12-run lead for Milford post 59. Both of these teams facing elimination in the state tournament. And an off-speed pitch had Devon Lynch off balance. A 1-ball, 1-strike count. The next pitch on the way as Gunfriday works very quickly, and it's popped up out behind first base, drifting out onto the shallow right field grass and into the Bermuda Triangle out there. Nocera, Almeida, and Sisitsky all closing in. None could make the catch. And so Lynch will reach on a leadoff bloop base hit. And so that's the first hit for post 228 since the first inning, and the first hit allowed for Alex Gunfriday since coming into the game. Somerset had gone quickly and quietly through the last 2 innings. Now a swing and a miss from Steve Sylvia for strike 1. Sylvia grounded out in his first at bat. Big lead at first for Lynch. He holds as the breaking ball is in for a called strike 2. Friday has looked very comfortable on the mound. Certainly did not expect to be in the game at this juncture. But he has flourished so far. He allows another hit here, however, as it drops in front of Sisitsky out in right field. The runner on his horse, heading from first to third, gets there safely. Now the relay throw back on the infield trickles away, and that will allow Sylvia to advance to second base. So that might end up going as an error on Sisitsky as the throw back in from right got away from everyone, and that allowed Sylvia to advance to second base. Aggressive running for Devon Lynch as he's able to go first to third. So suddenly 2 in scoring position for Somerset with nobody out. And Jose Martinez now at the plate. Martinez a strikeout victim in his first at bat. Takes a pitch outside for ball 1. So just as we mentioned, Alex Confrade settling into this game nicely. He's greeted with back-to-back hits to open up the 4th. Now fires in a strike to even the count. Confrade has played a valuable role for this team this season. He's made starts when needed. He's come out of the bullpen when needed. Now a 1-ball, 2-strike count. As Martinez briefly steps onto the box, now back in, ready to go. And the 1-2 pitch, and that drops in low, blocked in front by Alex Reynolds. Nobody out yet in this bottom of the 4th. As the lefty fires in another pitch, that misses far outside, and that will run the count full. And right now, Confrade, 1 pitch outside of the strike zone away from loading the bases. The last thing Milford wants to do is give Somerset even a glimmer of hope in this game. Here's the payoff pitch, and it is taken high for ball 4. So back-to-back hits and now a walk. And Somerset trying to make some noise in this 4th inning with the bases loaded, and that will bring Coach DeVito out of the dugout. The first time he's had to pay a visit to his left-handed reliever, and it looks like we'll see a pitching change here. So Alex Confrade, after pitching so well through the first 2 2/3 innings of his relief appearance, will give way now, and it looks like Jack Tempesta will come out of the dugout to take over as the 3rd Milford arm of the game. And Tempesta will inherit a bases-loaded, no-out situation when we return next on our coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. Tempesta ended up making a number of starts through the regular season for Post 59, made 4 appearances on the mound, 3 of those starts. Tough ERA at 7.35, a 1-1 record in 13 1/3 innings. Tempesta allowed 19 hits, 18 runs, 14 of them earned. Walks and strikeouts were even at 9 apiece. An up and down first season in a Post 59 uniform, and Tempesta with the tall task of facing Somerset here with the bases loaded and nobody out. It's Lynch at 3rd, Sylvia at 2nd, Martinez at 1st, and Jake Rebello at the plate. And the right-hander takes a look at a called strike 1, a borderline pitch, and Rebello not at all happy with the call. Tempesta back to the set. And the 0-1 pitch is hit high in the air out to left field. It sends Farrell back now into foul ground. He's able to make the catch, tagging at 3rd base, and coming to the plate is Lynch. He will score as the throw is sent in towards 3rd base. That keeps Martinez at 1st and Sylvia at 2nd as Rebello Jake Rebello, I should say, is credited with the sacrifice fly for Somerset. And they're able to put a run back in their column, making it now a 14-3 score. And one down now for Tim Silva. As Tempesta surveys that runner at second base, now comes to the plate and deals in a first pitch strike. We mentioned it towards the end of the regular season. The Milford team, as a bonding exercise amongst the teammates heading into the playoffs, decided to dye their hair bleach blonde. This ball is now sent out to shallow left field. The catch made by Farrell. The runners have to hustle back to their bases as Farrell was ready to gun that throw back in towards second base. So a pop out by Silva for the second out of the inning. And a lot of the players getting pretty creative with how they went about dyeing their hair. Some of them just dyeing a section, some going full blonde. For Jack Tempesta, it was a wide streak of blonde going right down the middle of his head all the way down to the back of his neck. From the press box, it almost looks as though he's bald on top. But getting into the team bonding exercise, and now Tempesta induces a fly ball out to right field. It's Rebello who cuts in front to make the catch for the out that ends the inning. Jake Meehan retired on just a single pitch, so excellent work out of the bullpen for Tempesta. He allowed the inherited runner to score on the sacrifice fly, but that's all. The base is loaded with nobody out for Somerset, but they only collect a single run. It's now a 14-3 Milford lead as we move on to the top half of the fifth when we come back after this on coverage of Milford Legion baseball right here on My FM 101.3. Michael Farrell will lead things off for post 59 in the top half of the fifth. Somerset getting a run back on a sacrifice fly in the bottom half of the fourth. But Jack Tempesta, solid work for Milford on the mound to prevent a big inning. Milford still with a double-digit advantage at 14-3 as Michael Farrell leads off this inning, fouls the first pitch to the backstop. Lucas Berube continuing to work for Somerset, who is, again, technically the home team for this one. Although Milford certainly with all of the comforts of home. Here's the 1-ball, 1-strike pitch, a wave and a miss from Farrell. Michael so far today at the plate has been hit by a pitch with the bases loaded to force in a run, drove in 2 with a double, and has popped out to the pitcher. Takes one up and in. It's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. The windup and the pitch. And it's swung on and missed for strike 3. So Farrell down on strikes to open the inning. That's just the first strikeout recorded by Somerset pitching in the game. And that now brings the number 9 hitter Tyler Almeida to the plate. Almeida takes a look at ball 1. Quality at bat for Almeida his last time up. Lobbed a ball out to right center field for a hit, and slow reaction from the Somerset outfield combined with heads-up base running from Almeida ended up yielding him a double. It's a 2-0 pitch. That is high. 3 balls and no strikes now to the number 9 hitter. As the pitch hits at the lower inside part of the strike zone. No inclination to swing out of Almeida. Quick work now for Berube as this ball is grounded over towards second base. A bobble for Sylvia, but he's able to throw to first base in time to get the out. 4-3 on the grounder.
Now batting, the shortstop, number 4.
And so 2 up and 2 down for Milford in the 5th. And it brings us back up once again to the top spot in the Milford order. At bat number 5, or plate appearance number 5, I should say, for Joe Sanchione. Swings at the first pitch and hits it hard and foul out of play off to the left. And now the 0-1 pitch is again hit down the left field line, but it's again foul. Nothing to the count on Sanchione. We have not seen a 1-2-3 inning, anything close to it on the Somerset side so far in the game. They hope to change that here. The fewest batters Somerset has faced in an inning is 5. They have 2 outs and the base is empty in the top of the 5th. Here's an 0-2 pitch to Sanchione, and it bounces outside, ricochets away from the catcher. And the count will go to 1-2. Milford with a 14-3 lead. And now the pitch is waved at and missed. And now the throw down to first base as the ball briefly got away, but no problem to finish off the strikeout. 2 Ks in the inning for Lucas Berube. A solid inning of work in relief. He's done a very good job of settling things down. But it's still a big lead for Post 59, up 14-3. We'll see the bottom of the 5th inning when we return next on your home for Milford Legion Baseball, My FM 101.3. Jack Tempesta now a chance to start off a clean inning after he inherited a bases-loaded situation with nobody out in the 4th, allowed just a single inherited runner to score.
Check that. It's Matt Shea, 21, center field.
And it'll be the top of the order due up for Post 228 in the bottom of the 5th inning, starting with Matt Shea, the center fielder. Takes ball 1 outside and low from Tempesta. It's been Rice for a 1/3 of an inning, Gunfriday for 2 1/3, and now Tempesta entering into his 2nd inning of relief. In the bottom of the 5th inning, now a 2-0 pitch. That's in for a strike. Matt Shea so far today 1 for 2. He singled and came around to score in the 1st inning. Now jumps ahead 3 balls into strike. Once upon a time, this was a 1-run game at 3-2. Now an 11-run lead for Post 59. As the pitch misses down and in for ball 4, so Tempesta issues a walk to his first batter of the 5th inning.
Number 27, Jeremy.
That's the 3rd walk for Milford pitching. Each pitcher charged with a single base on balls, Rice, Gunfriday, and now Tempesta. Runner at first base now for Jeremy Thibotot. And the first pitch maybe a little bit low for ball 1. A walk and a fly out with a run scored has been the day so far for Somerset's number 2 hitter, as this pitch gets away from Reynolds. Dropped in the dirt right in the left side batter's box, kicked away from Reynolds. And Shea advances to second base. Should go as a wild pitch. Here's the 2-0 now, and it's popped up on the infield. Playable on the right side. Nocera right in the baseline is able to make the catch. And there is the first out of the bottom half of the 5th inning. When this game began, the temperature was around 74 degrees, but with strong sunshine, it feels warmer than that right now. One out deep in the bottom of the 5th. Shea remains at second base now for the DH Luke Faria. He takes a look at ball one. Just 1 degree higher than when the game began, now 75 degrees here in Milford. As that pitch is in for a strike, evening the count at 1-1. Not much wind here at the field. The flags calm out in left center. That ball cued foul off the end of the bat from Faria. Hits off the backstop, and the count goes to 1-2. This is game 2 of this second day of tournament action. Still 2 more games coming up later on today. Next on the agenda is Braintree versus Northampton as we get into the winners' games in the afternoon and in the evening. Here's a 1-2 pitch that drops in low. Locked out in front by Reynolds as the count evens. So Braintree versus Northampton, that right now is a scheduled 4:30 first pitch. With Ashland and Newton closing out day 2 with a 7:30 start time this evening. Here's the 2-2 pitch now to Faria. He was just able to get a piece as that one came in on his hands. Fouled it straight down into the dirt. Stays alive at the 2-ball, 2-strike count. Faria up now, Devon Lynch, the next batter expected. And now the batter granted time. Somerset in Houston Astros-like colors, the bright orange and navy. 2-2 pitch is swung on and missed for strike 3, and Faria goes down. There's the first strikeout for Tempesta, strikeout number 4 for Milford pitching. And so after the leadoff walk and the wild pitch, Tempesta able to get the next 2 batters. Trying to conclude the inning here with the cleanup hitter Devon Lynch in the box. Lynch singled to lead off last inning, eventually came around to score on the Jake Rebello sacrifice fly. Tempesta now steps off the pitching rubber to mop some sweat off of his face. As the pitch is in for a strike, now 0-2 the count as we see one of the teams from the 4:30 contest enter the facility, Northampton. Marching in around behind the backstop. Here's now the 0-2 pitch, and this is lofted in the air out to shallow left field. Farrell will have to play it on a hop, and around to score from second base comes Matt Shea. Just a bloop base hit dropping down in front of Farrell. And so Lynch has his second hit of the game. And the RBI brings the score now to 14-4. And keeps this 5th inning going now for Steve Sylvia. The lone runner now for Somerset is at first base as the pitch comes up and in. The bullpen is quiet right now for post 59. Trying to get some length out of Jack Tempesta through these middle innings. Here's the pitch. It's high and tight once again for ball 2. Two balls, no strikes, 2 outs. And Tempesta to the plate, and that one comes too far inside this time and hits Sylvia off the ribs, and he will take his base. The first 2 pitches of the at-bat came up and in. The third one getting Sylvia off the side. So he is now at first with Lynch moving down to second base, and Tyler Monahan right now in to the pitcher's mound with a couple of words of encouragement for Jack Tempesta. Now returns to his position at third. 2 runners on with 2 outs now for Jose Martinez. The Somerset shortstop 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk, and takes the first pitch outside for ball 1, and suddenly the command has faltered for Tempesta. He's walked 1 and hit 1 so far in this inning, also giving up the bloop RBI single. And now the pitch misses very high, and it will now be Alex Reynolds who trots out to the pitcher's mound. Everyone trying to chip in to get Tempesta through this this bottom of the 5th. Conversation quickly breaks up as Reynolds now returns to his position behind the plate. This game not being played quite at lightning speed. Here's the 2-0, and that hits the inside part of the plate for strike 1. Got underway at 12:30. Quickly approaching the 2-hour mark. As the pitch comes to the plate, it's swung on and missed. Milford's game last night wrapping up right around 11 o'clock, which gave the team about 13.5 hours to rest and regroup and be ready to go for this game this afternoon. Here's the 2-2 pitch now. That is taken high. And the count will run full. That will give Steve Sylvia a chance to get a head start at first base, and likewise for Devon Lynch down at second. As Tempesta comes to the set, the runners go. The payoff pitch is popped straight up high in the air. In foul ground behind first base, it's Kyle Nocera now back right outside the first base line, able to make the catch. And that out will retire the side. So 2 runners stranded on base for Somerset in the inning. They do grab another run. They've grabbed single runs in each of the last 2 frames to bring the score now to Milford 14 and Somerset post 228-4 here on our coverage of Milford Legion baseball in this Massachusetts Legion State Tournament on MyFM 101.3. 14 runs on 11 hits with 1 error for Milford, 4 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors for Somerset post 228. We've played 5 full innings now from Pheno Field. On to the top half of the 6th, where Milford will have Sean Rebello, Aiden Wild, and Tyler Monahan as their 3 batters expected. And returning to the pitcher's mound once again is Lucas Berube. And these Somerset fans in attendance perhaps wishing that Berube had started this game. So far, he's gone 3 1/3. He's allowed just 1 run on 2 hits. He's walked 1 and struck out 2. By far, he's been the most effective pitcher we've seen so far at a post 228. Here, Sean Rebello bounces one back up the middle. A rangy play for the shortstop. Martinez traveling behind the second bag, fielded quickly and sent an accurate throw to first, but not in time. Too much speed for Rebello. But a terrific effort out of the shortstop, Martinez. Very athletic play. But Rebello able to beat it out for the infield single. The leadoff man on. And the last thing that Somerset wants to see is a runner on the bases for Aiden Wild. Wild 3 for 3, 4 runs batted in. 3 of those RBI came on an inside the park home run in the 2nd inning. And now Wild hits one hard towards third base, ticks off the fingertips of the glove of Devon Lynch, rolls out into shallow center, and everyone will be safe. And that will go now as the 4th error for Somerset. Milford has been able to keep their errors in check so far in the game. The same cannot be said for post 128. As Monahan takes the first pitch for a called strike 1. Milford runners leading off of first and second base now for Monahan. Aiden Wild, that runner on first, he has been on base now all 5 times he has come to the plate. 3 hits, a hit by pitch, and now reaching on the error. Here's the 0-1, hit hard to the shortstop. Jose Martinez fields it. The throw to second base out there. The relay to first is not in time. The infield doing everything they could for Somerset. Another good defensive play for Jose Martinez. Quick flip to second base to get the out there. But Monahan able to beat out the throw to first. He reaches on the fielder's choice. Aiden Wild erased on the 6-4 force.
Now batting the catcher, number 20, Alex Reynolds.
So 1 out now in the inning. Sean Rebello now stands at third with Monahan at first. Alex Reynolds at the plate. He has also reached base in each of his trips to the plate so far. 3 walks and an RBI single. Starts off ahead in the count, 1-0. Now the pitch from Berube is hit hard out to left field, racing over is Meehan towards the line. He's going to have to play it on a bounce as Rebello will come in from third base. He touches home plate to give Milford their 15th run of the game. Post 59 now with the lead back up to 11. So the second hit and the second run batted in for Alex Reynolds. It's first and second now with 1 down for Sisitsky. And Zach takes the first pitch for a called strike. Zach has come through with a sacrifice fly. He's walked, he's popped out, and reached on a fielder's choice. And now goes after a high breaking ball and sends it foul, slowly rolling down the first base line. The count goes to 0-2. The runners were off on contact. Now Tyler Monahan making the slow jog back towards the second base bag. And immediately bounces back out to a lead as the 0-2 pitch comes home and Sisitsky fights it off foul. Stays an 0-2 count on the Milford right fielder. The next pitch is down and in. Bounces briefly away from the catcher, but not far enough for the runners to try and advance. And now the lefty with some practice cuts as Berube comes to the set position. Here's the pitch. And Sisitsky able to stick the bat out. Shoots it out just over the reach of the third baseman, but it hits in foul territory out on the left field grass. That was a close one. Coach DeVito with a good view. It doesn't look like the Milford head coach will give any argument. So that one just landing to the left of that chalk line down just out into shallow left field. And another pitch on the way for Sisitsky, and very off-balance swing. He was just able to make contact, rolling it foul off towards the backstop. So Sisitsky hanging tough. The 5th batter to come to the plate in the Milford half of the 6th. Another pitch on the way, and it's looped foul over the backstop. Sisitsky seeing a lot of pitches. The pitch count getting up there for Berube now. Came into this inning with 3 1/3 already under his belt as Sisitsky now lobs this one out to shallow center field. Room for Matt Shea to range in to make the catch. And Sisitsky is retired. 2 outs now in the inning. The runners stay put at first and second now for Kyle Nocera. Reached base in his first 2 at-bats, once on an error, once on an RBI infield single. Since then, it's been a fly-out and a ground-out for Kyle. And now takes an off-speed pitch to start off down in the count, 0-1. Again, we want to let all of our listeners know that, once again, Milford TV is present covering the state tournament game. You'll have an opportunity to see games 1 and 2 of this tournament in their entirety on Milford TV coming up in this next week. And hopefully more games in the tournament to follow. Milford in position for a win here, up 15-4. Still a ways to go. Next pitch into Nocera, misses high. The last 2 have missed up and out of the strike zone to put Nocera now in front 2-1. And the next pitch from Berube is hit out to center field. Shea drifting in a few steps. Again, he is there to make the play. And that will conclude the top half of the 6th inning. Milford pushes another run across on the RBI single for Alex Reynolds. They now lead it over Somerset by a score of 15-4. As we'll head on to the bottom half of the 6th inning on this tournament coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on MyFM 101.3. 15 runs in the game for Milford post 59, 4 runs in the game for Somerset post 228.
LeBlanc from Monahan.
And we'll see one defensive change here as the game continues on to the bottom half of the 6th inning. We'll see Jake LeBlanc come into the game. He takes over at third base, so Tyler Monahan is now out. We haven't seen any sign of injury from Monahan so far in the game. Tyler ended up going 1 for 4 with an RBI, as now this pitch is bounced to third base quickly, testing the new third baseman Jake LeBlanc. He fields and throws and records the out of Jake Ribello on just 1 pitch. So may very well be a product of the big lead for Milford, wanting to give their cleanup hitter a little bit of rest. Tyler Monahan is the only member of this post-59 roster that has started every single game this season, regular season and playoffs combined. Tyler playing in all 29 games, making the start in the lineup, in that cleanup spot in all 29 games. Could make it 30 games with this one included. 1 ball, 1 strike count now on the batter, who lifts a pitch out into center field. In at first was Ribello, now racing back. It's going to get over his head, and it will be extra bases for Tim Silva. He's heading on to third base. Here comes the relay throw from the outfield, the slide, and Silva is safe with a 1-out triple. Ribello misjudged that one off the crack of the bat. He came in a couple of steps, then went full speed straight back in center, but could not make up the ground, the ball going over his head. And right now, Sean Ribello looks to be a little bit shaken up out in center field. Right now, in a squat out in center field, he looked to be favoring his shoulder a little bit. Now trying to shake it off. There's no question a lot of these players are banged up after this long season. You think about 30 games now between regular season and playoffs combined. 30 games spanning from June 11th to now today, July 23rd. That's not a lot of time for 30 games to be played. A 1 ball, no strike count now on the number 9 hitter, Jake Meehan, who is 0 for 2. Meehan a fly out to right field in his first at bat, then a fly out to center field to conclude the 4th. Batting with a runner at third base and 1 down now in the 6th, and he loops a ball out to shallow right field. On comes Sisitsky, he makes the catch, and the runner retreats to third base and holds there. So Meehan has now tested all 3 outfield positions and is now 0 for 3.
Now batting the center fielder, number 21, Matt.
And with 2 outs, we'll now see another at bat for Matt Shea, the leadoff hitter. He is 1 for 2, has a single and a walk. He has scored 2 of the 4 Somerset runs. Now swings at the first pitch and hits it in the air out to left field, and on the move, it is Michael Farrell who was able to make the play just inside fair territory. A running catch for Michael Farrell, and that brings an end to the bottom of the 6th inning. A sinking liner. Looked like it might be trouble for Somerset, but Farrell makes the play, and Somerset does not score in the 6th inning. We move on to inning number 7 on this day 2 of state tournament action. Milford enjoys a 15-4 lead over Somerset here on My FM 101.3. We see a new pitcher on for post 228 as we enter the top half of the 7th inning. After a good effort out of Lucas Berube, who ended up going 4 1/3 innings in relief, allowed just a single run to Milford on 4 hits, walked 1 and struck out 2. Kept this game from really getting out of hand. And he now turns it over to the 4th Somerset arm, Luke Faria, now on to pitch. So started the game as the designated hitter, now comes in on the pitcher's mound. And so he will now continue to operate out of the number 3 spot as the pitcher, so no more designated hitter. Should Faria eventually have to come out of the game, he would be removed from the lineup as well. But he takes over in the top of the 7th, where he will face batters 8, 9, and 1. Michael Farrell to lead it off.
Michael Farrell.
Farrell so far a hit by pitch, a double, a pop out, and a strikeout. And again, it's been a relatively subdued crowd through a lot of this game. Milford seeming to put the game out of reach after those first 2 innings. So there's been a lot of silence out of both dugouts and around the crowd as well. But certainly a lot of satisfied customers on the Milford side so far with the performance they've seen out of their team. A real bounce-back effort to this point. Think about all of the missed offensive opportunities the team had last night, stranding 14 runners on. With the post-59 bats making that a distant memory, putting up 13 runs in the first 2 innings of this game. As Farrell pops this ball a mile into the air, everyone covering their heads behind the plate, no one sure where that ball was going to land. It ends up dropping down just on the outside of the backstop. Narrowly missing a couple of coaches. The count goes to 1 and 2 on Farrell. And the 1-2 pitch on the way from Luke Faria, and that drops in for a called strike 3. Farrell knew it right away. And a good pitch.
Now batting the second baseman, number 6.
So that's the 2nd time Michael Farrell has gone down on strikes. One down and the base is empty in the Milford half of the 7th, and now Tyler Almeida will come to the plate. And Almeida takes a pitch in for a called strike 1. Almeida so far today, just a single hit and 4 trips to the plate, a double that came back in the 3rd. He also scored a run in that frame and is down in the count here, 0-2. Some good stuff shown out of Luke Faria so far. He goes back into his windup. Here is the 0-2 pitch. It misses high. Looks like Milford might have just briefly had some activity up in their bullpen. Didn't catch the uniform number as the players headed back to the dugout. We'll see if Coach DeVito brings in another arm in these late innings, as meanwhile Almeida goes down, lunging at an outside pitch. Back-to-back strikeouts for Luke Faria. That leaves the inning up to Joe Sanchioni. He struck out in his last at-bat, but he has reached base 4 times in the game. Takes a breaking ball high for ball 1. Doubles in 2 different at-bats in the second inning for Sanchioni. Now here a half swing. He rolls the ball out towards first base. It was misplayed initially by Tim Silva, but he was able to recover. Tossed a blind throw to first base as he lost his footing, but got it to the pitcher covering the bag for the out to end the inning. So an adventurous play, but it eventually goes 3-1, and Luke Faria enjoys a 1-2-3 inning of relief in the top half of the 7th. And on to the bottom half of the inning we go. It will be Kyle Nocera coming to the pitcher's mound when we return after this here on coverage of Milford Legion Baseball on My FM 101.3. As we mentioned as we went into break, Kyle Nocera now will be pitcher number 4, utilized by Milford Post 59, Rice, Gunfriday, Tempesta, and now Nocera. Coach DeVito went in depth about his potential usage of Kyle Nocera on the pitcher's mound when we spoke to him during the Sports Buzz yesterday here from Fino Field. Saying through these early games of the tournament, he would quite possibly use Nocera in a late inning relief role, but left open the possibility that Nocera could make a start if Milford were to make it deep in the tournament. Of course, Post 59 facing elimination in this game, but they do enjoy a 15-4 lead on Somerset. Looking in position to play on to Monday's action. Nocera will face batters 2, 3, and 4 in the lineup as this ball takes a terrible hop on Sanchioni, but he's able to leap, keep it on the infield, and he throws to first to get the out. What a terrific play from Joe Sanchioni. That ball hit the infield dirt and then shot up way over Sanchioni's head. And anyone who knows Joe knows he is far from the tallest player in this Post 59 lineup, but he was able to use every bit of his jump to keep that ball on the infield and threw accurately to first. What a great play from the Milford shortstop to open up this bottom of the 7th as the baton is retired. And that quickly brings Luke Faria to the plate, who is now the last arm used out of the bullpen from the Somerset coaching staff. Takes a look at a first pitch strike, now sees pitch number 2 drop in low. As the count evens at 1-1, you can hear the crack of the bat just to the left of our position as Northampton takes some swings in the new batting cage that was installed here at Fino Field prior to the start of this season, off behind the bleachers on the third base side. Getting ready for the 4:30 game as Faria pops this ball up in foul ground. Reynolds moving over towards the first base dugout and can't secure the catch. He had it in the glove, then hit the turf, and the ball eventually popped out. And Reynolds frustrated, slapping the glove in frustration, but he receives a pat from Kyle Nocera, showing appreciation for the effort. You've seen all-out effort from this Milford team on every play of this game, whether offensively, defensively, or on the pitcher's mound. This Milford team had a look to them from the moment they arrived at this ballpark that they had no intention of having their season come to an end here today. It is now a full count to Luke Faria. Batting with 1 out and the bases empty in the 7th. Nocera, the lefty, into his windup. The pitch is hit back up the middle, and that is going to reach center field. Well placed off the bat of Faria, got past the mound, and no chance for Almeida or Sanchioni to make a play. A 1-out single.
The third baseman, number 12, Devon.
That's the 7th hit for Post 228 in the game. Comes with 1 out in the 7th, and now brings Devon Lynch to the plate. Lynch has 2 of those 7 Somerset hits. Milford playing in tight on the grass at first base, and we should bring to your attention the corresponding defensive changes that came with Nocera entering on the pitcher's mound. Jake LeBlanc moving across the diamond from third base to first, and into the game defensively at third is Dawson McMillan. The 1-0 pitch drops low and inside. You see Dawson playing third base, and you think instantly about all of the years that his older brother Andrew manned that third base position, played so well, was such a force for this Legion team. And also older brother E.G. playing a season there at third base in his final year in a Legion uniform. E.G. doing a lot of catching for Milford in his career, but in his final season, which was also my first season covering the team, E.G. was the primary third baseman. So we've now seen all three McMillan brothers see time at third base. It's a 3-ball, 1-strike count now on Devon Lynch. Runner holds it first as the pitch is fouled away, and the count runs full. Coach DeVito very impressed with the bullpen sessions that Kyle Nocera had over the week in between the zone playoffs and the state tournament, as Nocera has continued to tinker with his mechanics. We also heard Coach DeVito tell us he's added a new pitch to his repertoire, working on a cutter. Here's a 3-2 pitch, and it's sent foul to the backstop. Ball darted down and in on the right-handed batter. Devon Lynch, a strikeout back in the first inning. That was the last batter that Jonathan Rice faced, and then came through with back-to-back hits in the 4th and 5th, scoring each time he reached base, as here he takes a pitch right at the knees for a called strike 3. And so he goes down on strikes for the 2nd time in the game. There's the first strikeout for Nocera. He has 2 outs now in the 7th. And that will bring up Steve Sylvia, the number 5 hitter and 2nd baseman. Sylvia has grounded out, singled, and was hit by a pitch. The lone runner at first base is Luke Faria, as this ball is lofted in foul ground down the right field line. Jake LeBlanc racing out there, but could not catch up to it. It lands foul for strike 1. The winner of this game will earn a return trip to Pheno Field here tomorrow for a 1 o'clock game against the loser of the 4:30 game here this afternoon, Braintree versus Northampton. Here's an 0-1 pitch, drops in the dirt, kicks away from Reynolds. The runner takes off for second base. Here's the throw, and it is not in time. A close play at second base. Reynolds sent a good throw down. Sanchioni received it, swiped the tag down, but apparently Faria just getting his foot into the bag in time. So now a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. And the pitch, and going around on the swing was Sylvia. Tried to check it, but the home plate umpire said he swung, and the count goes to 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs. A lead at second base for Faria. Nocera winds and fires, and the ball is grounded to third base. A chance for Dawson McMillan. He swipes the tag on the runner, trying to advance to third. Faria is out, and that is the final out here in the 7th inning. Dawson McMillan makes the play, and a 10-plus run lead for Post 59 at the close of 7 innings results in a mercy rule victory. In the 9-inning games here in the tournament, it takes 7 innings for a mercy rule win, and that is exactly what happens here on Pheno Field this afternoon. Milford able to come back with a resilient performance after that tough loss last night, and they defeat Somerset by a final score of 15-4 in 7 innings. And Somerset now becomes the 2nd team to be eliminated from state tournament competition. And Milford will indeed live on. They will return here to their home field tomorrow afternoon, a 1 o'clock game for Milford